Ahead on 12 News, the reunion a Plymouth woman has waited for 14 years.
Oh, you're still tall!
Plus, a park in Robbinsdale people are passionate about.
It's just so wonderful. Like I said, even as a ruin.
What they're doing to preserve a slice of history. But first, authorities turn out in Golden Valley to shed light on sex offenders. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. How much do you really know about sex offenders?
Authorities in Golden Valley are trying to dispel misconceptions, but also provide some hard truths.
This is concerning. I certainly, wouldn't welcome the fact of having a sex offender move next to my residence. I know none of you do either.
Notification meeting in Golden Valley Monday night alerted residents about a level 3 sex offender moving into their community. Level 3 is the highest risk to reoffend. Roderick Emery is registered to an address in the 6200 block of Golden Valley Road. Emery was an accomplice in a sexual assault and burglary involving a woman his friend knew. He also had sexual contact with a young girl he knew when he was 12 years old. State corrections officials, though, want to point out that the recidivism rate for sex offenders is actually fairly low. 90% of convicted sex offenders don't reoffend.
There aren't too many proponents who say that, well, if you just keep sex offenders out of my community, we're going to be safe. That sort of goes in the face of what we really know.
Unfortunately, sex crimes are a common problem, especially involving children. 1 in 5 girls have experienced sexual misconduct. It's 1 in 7 for boys. 90% of sex offenses are committed by people who have not offended before.
On Wednesday, local authorities are focusing on domestic violence. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office will lead an arrest sweep looking for people with active warrants related to domestic violence cases. Maple Grove, Plymouth, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, and Robbinsdale are among the cities taking part in the effort.
A St. Paul man is sentenced to prison for stealing cars that had broken down along area freeways. James Jennings was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison and ordered to pay more than $70,000 in restitution. Police say this video shows Jennings loading a police bait car on a flatbed truck. Investigators say he took the cars to a recycling center. Investigators believe he's responsible for at least 35 car thefts in the Northwest Metro. 14 years ago, a Plymouth firefighter responded to a routine call about a pregnant woman in need.
To the firefighter, it was just another day on the job. But to the woman, what he did changed her life. And after 14 years, she was finally able to say thank you. Here's Cassie Bonstrom.
I'm excited. I'm kind of sort of want to cry.
When a firefighter shows up at your house, it's not usually a good sign.
Oh, you're still tall.
Yeah.
But for Sue Sami, she's waited for this moment for 14 years.
This is Sophia.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Yeah, this is Jim.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah, I wanted a hug too.
For 14 years, Sue has wanted to thank the firefighter, Jim Lanning, who came to her aid while she was pregnant with twins.
I didn't know I was miscarrying.
Right.
But I was.
Right.
And you came. I think you guys were the first people on the scene.
Thank him for being by her side when she needed it most.
Don't remember the whole thing, but all I remember, you were holding my hand.
Yeah.
And you kept saying you're not alone. And that's all I wanted to hear.
Sue is originally from Tunisia. While she lost one baby that day, the other, Sophia, survived.
My daughter is the only child that lost 4 babies before her. She's my life.
And every day of Sophia's life since, Sue has thought about that firefighter. When she finally tracked Jim down, she asked if she could meet him again in person.
I wanted to say thank you. He said the right thing. He did the right thing.
Jim says he just did what he was trained to do.
See, sometimes we help people and we don't even know, that we help them.
But all these years later, he's happy to be reminded that seemingly small acts of kindness and 3 simple words can have a lasting impact.
You got a good soul, you got a good heart. And we're not going to let go of you now.
In Plymouth, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
In other news, with a heavy heart, family and friends came together to honor the 3-year-old girl who drowned at an apartment swimming pool. Coriana Wright was found early Monday morning in the deep end of the pool at the Windsor Gates apartment complex. At a vigil Monday night, relatives and friends tried to comfort the girl's family. For one teacher starting summer school, it was a difficult day to get through.
I tried to hold up and be strong and think positive. It's very hard because you know you don't want the kids to know that you're upset.
Coriana had been playing with older siblings and other children. They returned home for dinner Sunday night when the family discovered the girl was missing.
Liquor store competition could heat up in Maple Grove. Total Wine and More wants to move into the Arbor Lake shopping area next to Nordstrom Rack. The liquor store giant has dealt with contentious approvals in other Minnesota cities and has faced opposition from the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association. Total Wine is known for lower liquor prices on national brands. The Maple Grove City Council is expected to consider its liquor license request next month. Preserving history is what a group of people want to do in Robbinsdale.
They are hoping to restore a rundown park that was once a destination spot. Eric Nelson has the story.
Kent Brunn and the Robbinsdale Lions Club are on a mission.
That's our goal, to have this thing restored. We just know it's going to cost money to do it.
Brunn's vision is to turn Graeser Park into a suburban oasis, just like it used to be.
People from all over would come here specifically for this park, just to have a Sunday afternoon picnic.
Brunn and other Graeser fans are passionate about this green space, which once was a popular roadside stop off of Minnesota Highway 100.
This used to be rural country out here.
Of course, that was decades ago, in a simpler, slower era.
I just kind of stumbled across this and fell in love with it.
The challenge now is to convince people that this slice of history is worth preserving.
This was pretty much overgrown. A lot has been cut down by us.
The park is overrun with weeds and vegetation, which is why volunteers have spent 3 years sprucing it up.
We care. We're going to come out here and volunteer to keep it looking good.
Graeser Park dates back to 1939 as a Works Progress Administration project. Its signature landmark is the Beehive, where park goers gathered for barbecues.
It's very characteristic of these parks, and we're thankful that this is still available.
MnDOT is the current owner of Graeser Park, meaning that volunteers will have to jump through legal hoops to acquire the land.
So many details that need to be worked on, and we just haven't scratched the surface yet.
The important thing is that MnDOT and everyone else knows people care.
We'll see if that caring leads to action. In Robbinsdale, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
And volunteers are hoping to spread the word about their restoration efforts to help raise money for the project. Coming up, a word of caution for those who wear contact lenses. Health Check has something to think about the next time you head to the beach.
And then later in sports, a preview of the season finale of our Sports Jam show.
But first, have an umbrella handy. There's a significant chance for rain, possibly half an inch or more on Wednesday.
Now that boat owners are back on area lakes, there's a reminder from public safety officials to make sure to use life jackets.
At French Regional Park on Medicine Lake, there is no reason for not using them. In fact, there is a box full of loaner life jackets that you can borrow for free and then return. And safety officials say the honor system is working so well, there are actually more life jackets now than when they started.
Last year when we closed down the station, when we started with 12 jackets, we ended up with, I believe, 17 or 19. So families are recycling the jackets that no longer work for them, putting them back in the box so that they can be used by the community.
And Sarah Aquinas says the extra life jackets came from families where kids probably outgrew them or families just opted for a different style. An estimated 30 million Americans wear contact lenses.
When used properly, they make it easier to work, play, and perform everyday activities, but they're not entirely risk-free. In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland has more on what can happen when you mix contact lenses with water.
A trip to the beach is the quintessential summertime activity.
It's good for the kids. It's kind of fun to hang out with the kids as much as I can in the summertime.
Parents and lifeguards have a full range of concerns when it comes to swimming safety.
More so paying attention is the most thing.
Worry a little bit about them wandering off, maybe losing track of them.
But if you happen to wear contact lenses, there's a separate issue altogether that swimmers need to know, according to Dr. Tina McCarty.
Anywhere where there's water, you can find acanthamoeba.
Acanthamoeba is a microscopic organism found in water that can cause a severe eye infection called acanthamoeba keratitis. Symptoms include redness, burning, and sensitivity to light.
A contact lens is a porous surface, so organisms from the water, such as acanthamoeba, can actually live in the contact lens, on the surface of the contact lens, or in that space in the tear film between the surface of the eye and the contact lens themselves.
Which means that when you come in contact with water, it's best to do so without contact lenses.
I've never worried about it with my contacts.
We showed contact lens wearers a picture of what can happen if their eyes were infected with acanthamoeba keratitis.
That's not pretty. I can see that much.
It looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters in your eyeball, but okay.
Dr. McCarty says an important tool in the fight against acanthamoeba is the daily disposable contact lens.
If a patient was swimming in a lake and they came into contact with the water, they got splashed with water, for example, that contact lens could be removed, discarded, and a fresh pair could be opened right away.
Laura Johnson never got the memo about swimming without contacts.
No, we've never really talked about it though. I'll open my eyes underwater with contacts in as well.
Luckily for her, she wears daily disposable contacts.
Nothing to worry about. Great.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Doctors say you shouldn't swim, shower, or use a hot tub while wearing contacts. If you do decide to wear your lenses while swimming, wear airtight goggles over them. Coming up, pet food for thought. Plymouth needs help naming 2 of its dog parks.
But first, a local school is tops in Rugby. John Jacobson is in next with sports. Rugby is a sport I think a lot of people, at least in this country, don't know a lot about, but there is a championship team here in the Northwest Metro.
They're excited about it. Yeah,
They've
been playing for a while, absolutely. It's not an officially sanctioned high school sport here in Minnesota, but there is plenty of passion for rugby in some local schools. One girls team in the area just added some new hardware for their trophy case. Here's Jay Wilcox with more.
The dynasty continues for the Armstrong girls rugby team. Their recent championship win over North Suburban made it 6 straight state titles. But unlike in some past years, this 31-17 win was anything but easy.
It was the best game that we've ever played. Like, the intensity was so high and everyone had to work so hard. And I think that's why we won, because we worked so hard. And we had to stay mentally engaged through it all.
This championship was super special because I've played for 4 years. This is the first game we've really had to give it our all. The other team pushed back really, really strongly, but it was such a great game. It was really, really fun. Everyone tried their hardest and we came out on top. It came out exactly as I wanted to, and I'm going to remember this day for the rest of my life. I'm sure I will.
They're the best competition we've had in years. This is our 6th state championship in a row, and this was the first year in a while where we had competition, and they definitely came out ready to play.
Rugby isn't for the faint of heart, but it is growing.
In Minnesota, we have, I want to say 12 high school girls teams and around 20 high school boys teams. There's a few hundred athletes playing, so it is growing. It is one of the largest growing sports in the country right now with its addition to the Olympics in 2016.
So what's the secret to Armstrong's success? Hard work and...
You know, I really believe that it's our bond as a team. We all get together super well and we love each other a lot. We're family on and off the field, and I think that's why we're where we are right now.
That bond is reinforced at this emotional championship win for Armstrong. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Many of the players will be competing in the Summer Sevens Rugby. The league will run Thursday starting July 9th. You can visit MinnesotaYouthRugby.com for more information. The high school sports season finished for the 2014-2015 school year on Monday with the state championship baseball games. On this week's Sports Jam show on Channel 12, Jay Wilcox and I named the top local players in both baseball and softball. Here's a clip from that story.
Providence Academy pitcher Jesse Barron helped the Lions reach the Class 2A state tournament. He came into the tourney with a 7-0 record and an ERA of 1.60. Barron struck out 53 batters in 43 innings this spring and also hit .317 at the plate with 15 RBIs. He was named All-Conference and All-Section. Catching that group was Champlin Park's Derek Smith. The junior has caught every game for the Rebels the past 2 seasons. He hit .362 for Champlin Park this season with 13 runs batted in and was named All-Northwest Suburban Conference.
Maple Grove's number 12, Sidney Smith. Smith completed a stellar career with a 19-1 record, 0.19 ERA, and 241 strikeouts this season. She's also a feared hitter with a .506 average, 5 homers, and 26 RBIs. The Star Tribune Metro Player of the Year and Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year, Smith is headed to softball power LSU. Number 8, Lauren Fegler of Hopkins is another veteran pitcher who also swings a potent bat. Fegler won 14 games, leading the Royals to the Lake Conference title. She also slugged 6 home runs, even though most teams pitched around her. Fegler was a third-team All-Metro pick and team MVP.
You can see the rest of those teams and much more on the season finale of Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. or on our website at 12.tv. Legion baseball highlights coming up Wednesday starting at 4 and 12 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Chad. Coming up, a little extra creativity needed from dog lovers.
Plus, Plymouth leaves a new mark on a Veterans Memorial. We'll be right back.
The first round of names are now engraved into Plymouth's new Veterans Memorial. The site is part of a $1.4 million renovation of the Hilde Performance Center. By the end of the week, 142 veterans' names will be engraved, and there is room for a total of 1,300 names.
We're very excited to be able to honor those that have served in our armed forces, and to be able to honor them and have a place for people to come and to just be able to come and look at the beautiful area, to be able to sit, have a moment of silence, and be able to look at how beautiful it is and just have a peaceful area.
An official dedication of the Veterans Memorial site will be held June 29th at 7 o'clock in the evening. Finally, time to call on your creativity.
The city of Plymouth needs some help in naming 2 of its 3 dog parks. The naming challenge is now underway on the city's Facebook page. One of the unnamed dog parks is at Plymouth Playfield. The other is at Oakwood Playfield. And so far, some of the comments include Central Bark and Canine Park Reserve. Suggestions will be accepted through the end of the month.
Oh, there's so many ways you could go with that.
I don't have any. I like
So
Central
many ways.
Bark.
I like that one too. I think it's good.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock.